At exactly 03:45 a.m., deep in the Arctic darkness, the radar screens at Pituffik Space Base suddenly explode with alerts, red blips flashing, alarms chirping urgently. Something unbelievable is closing in. A Venezuelan naval flotilla, thousands of miles from home, pushing through thick ice straight toward America's most secret northern fortress. They thought the freezing polar night would hide them completely, but what they didn't know was that every move was already being tracked. Why would Venezuela risk total destruction for this insane mission? And what happens the second US forces lock on? You won't believe how fast this turns into Venezuela's most humiliating disaster ever. Super curious? Stay right here. This is about to get wild. Greenland isn't just the world's largest island. It's the frozen crown jewel of global strategy. A massive, unsinkable landmass sitting right between North America, Europe, and the rapidly melting polar routes that climate change is opening up like never before. As ice recedes, new shipping lanes are emerging, shorter paths for global trade, access to untapped rare earth minerals worth trillions, and the shortest missile flight paths to the US homeland. Right at the heart of this frozen frontier stands Pituffik Space Base, the US Space Force's northernmost outpost and one of the most critical defense installations on Earth. This remote powerhouse guards ballistic missile early warning radars that can detect launches from thousands of miles away, satellite trackers monitoring near-Earth space, and advanced surveillance systems that protect the entire continent from threats over the pole. The United States has poured billions into making Pituffik unbreakable. Heavy icebreakers like the Polar Star class smash through multi-year ice packs to keep supply lines open. Virginia-class attack submarines, stealthy, nuclear-powered hunters patrol silently beneath the floes, ready for under-ice operations. MQ-9 Reaper drones, specially adapted for Arctic extremes, launch from snowy runways to scan vast areas with infrared and radar sensors. Ground-based radars pierce through endless blizzards, feeding real-time data to command centers. Everything operates under a rock-solid defense pact with Denmark. But make no mistake, America calls every shot here. With only about 150 permanent US personnel, plus contractors and allies, the base runs on cutting-edge tech and absolute vigilance. Now Venezuela, a nation crippled by years of crushing sanctions, hyperinflation, and economic collapse, its navy reduced to a shadow of its former self. Once boasting a handful of aging frigates and patrol boats, much of the fleet sits rusting in port due to lack of parts, fuel, and maintenance. Yet in a stunning act of defiance likely fueled by alliances with Russia, Iran, and other anti-US powers, Venezuela's Bolivarian navy decides to pull off the impossible. They assemble a small flotilla, a pair of surviving Mariscal Sucre-class frigates, Italian-built Lupo designs from the 1980s, several Guayquerí-class offshore patrol vessels, Constitution-class fast attack craft, and even Iranian-supplied missile boats. They load up drones for scouting and head north across the Atlantic, then into the brutal Arctic. Their goal? A high-risk probe, get close enough to Pituffik to photograph radar arrays, record electronic signatures, test US response times, and send a loud message that even a distant, struggling nation can challenge American dominance in the far north. They bet on the enormous distance, fierce weather, and thick ice to shield them. They bet wrong. Tonight, that desperate, overconfident gamble explodes into a frozen nightmare. From the warm waters of the Caribbean, Venezuela's ragtag flotilla set sail an unprecedented journey few thought possible. Led by the ARV Almirante Brion and ARV General Salome, the last operational Mariscal Sucre frigates, flanked by Guayquerí-class patrol vessels like ARV Guayquerí and ARV Yaquana, plus fast attack craft and a handful of Iranian-boosted missile boats, they battle massive Atlantic swells. Then they push into polar darkness, hugging the edge of the ice pack, using fragmented flows and winter blackouts to mask their approach. Overhead, Venezuelan drones bolstered by Iranian tech buzz low, scanning for ice gaps and relaying grainy frozen footage back to Caracas. The mission is clear: creep within visual and electronic range of Pituffik, snap intel on those massive radar domes, map US patrols, and vanish before dawn. They avoid busy shipping lanes, banking on sheer audacity for surprise. Engines muffled, crews bundled against the cold, They think they're ghosts in the ice. But US sonar arrays, deep-sea listening posts wired into AI analytics catch the first whispers almost immediately. Unusual propeller signatures bounce off ice ridges. Faint engine noise cuts through the frigid water. In Pituffik's dimly lit control room, operators freeze. Multiple surface contacts bearing 090. Venezuelan signatures confirmed. Frigates leading, escorts trailing. They're pushing hard. Alarms chirp softly, no need to spook them yet. Radar beeps speed up, tension thick as Arctic fog. A countdown flashes on screens, 12 minutes to the outer detection zone. US MQ-9 drones launch silently, their electric hums swallowed by the wind. Virginia-class subs reposition underwater, forming an invisible steel barrier. The Venezuelan ships grind forward, decks groaning under ice buildup, crews oblivious that every creak and scrape is being tracked. One patrol boat grazes a drifting flow, metal screeches. A sharp echo shoots through the water, and US boards explode with alerts. The cold amplifies every mistake, every heartbeat. Would the Venezuelans spot the noose tightening, or would their bold, suicidal probe drag them straight into disaster? The merciless Arctic chill waited, ready to claim its victims. The first clash hits like silent thunder. A US MQ-9 drone squadron armed, stealthy and deadly swoops from the south, curving to block the Venezuelan path. The lead Venezuelan drone, probing too aggressively, lights up on American scopes. Target acquired. A counter-drone jammer fries its systems, then a Hellfire missile turns it into a fireball of falling debris splashing into the icy sea. Below, a US Virginia-class sub shadows the frigates. The Venezuelan lead frigate attempts a sharp, evasive turn, but thick ice forces a risky zigzag. The hull scrapes an underwater berg with a grinding screech that echoes for miles. Contact firm and active, comes the calm call from Pituffik. Ice-penetrating missiles spin up in buried silos. Crews in heavy Arctic gear hustling to stations. Tactical twists pile on fast. Another Venezuelan drone tries electronic warfare, jamming US links, but American systems hop frequencies instantly, turning the drone into a glowing homing beacon. The escorts split formation, one feints west to draw fire while the frigates push north, but US hunters are faster, smarter. A patrol boat breaks away for a desperate radio burst, then dives back just as a US drone looms overhead. Suspense grips the frozen night. Venezuelan crews shout frantic orders, voices crackling and garbled by jamming. One frigate almost surfaces for air, then pulls back, narrowly avoiding the trap. It was a flawless ambush, years of Arctic training in the making. The Venezuelans still had no clue how hopelessly surrounded they were. Then this happened the moment everything collapsed. The lead Venezuelan frigate misjudges the ice pack and pushes too close to the surface. Big mistake. US drones pounce like wolves. A salvo of anti-ship missiles slams into the radar mast and comms array. Explosions rip across the deck in flames, total blackout. Crews scramble in panic, but the ship lists heavily to starboard. Panic sweeps the flotilla. The escorts gun engines to full retreat, screaming against the cold. But US Arctic drones have them boxed, herding them into a narrow ice channel with towering walls closing in. One patrol boat clips an underwater ridge. Then this happened. Massive hull breach. Water roars in, alarms howling as the vessel tilts and floods. Punchy destruction follows. Pituffik missiles arc overhead, ice penetrating warheads punch through thick floes and strike below the waterline. Fireballs bloom in the polar darkness, orange flames reflecting off blue glaciers. The Venezuelan drone squadron, wiped out by EMP bursts in seconds. Flares shoot skyward in desperation, but AI-guided torpedoes lock on and close relentlessly. They barely avoid total sinking, one frigate grazed by a near miss, its fins sheared off but hull holding. The rest are crippled one by one, comms destroyed, engines flooded, weapons useless. No shots reach US forces, 0 American casualties. Venezuela's daring, impossible probe turns into Arctic annihilation, burning hulls and twisted wreckage claimed by the freezing waves as the night seals their fate. Dawn breaks over Pituffik Base secure, radars still sweeping, secrets intact. The Venezuelan flotilla, what's left, limps south, trailing smoke and shame. This wasn't just a failed mission, it was a national catastrophe. a global embarrassment that will haunt Caracas for generations. Geopolitically, shockwaves ripple far. Venezuela's reckless stunt, likely backed by anti-US allies, exposes how vulnerable their distant operations truly are. US dominance in the Arctic is reaffirmed louder than ever. NATO alerts heighten, joint patrols increase. No American lives lost, but Venezuela's pride shattered beyond repair. This disaster could ignite internal unrest, force deeper alliances with rivals, or spark renewed defiance. In the end, it proves one unbreakable truth: the Arctic belongs to those who defend it best. This wild, heart-pounding Arctic showdown ends with the sunrise, but the frozen north remains one of the world's hottest flashpoints. Venezuela licks its wounds, perhaps dreaming of revenge. The United States, stronger, more vigilant, and utterly dominant. The next clash over melting sea routes, rare minerals, or another bold, suicidal probe could erupt at any moment. If this kept you glued to the edge of your seat, smash that like button right now and drop a comment. Could Venezuela ever try something this crazy again? Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next explosive scenario. China's secret Arctic fleet challenges US Greenland base, then this happens. More high-stakes military drama coming your way. Thanks for watching, stay locked in for the next crisis.